Lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Rufino's on Highland Road, welcome to the Friday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, Jordan Kinch is back in the studio. The whole gang's here. It is Regional Friday at Alec Box Stadium and at 15 other sites across the country. Troy Macker with us, Bruce Marshall with us, Doug Thompson will be with us about 12:30 today, which is 90 minutes in front of when the game is supposed to start today. Let me just get the weather stuff out of the way right here at the beginning. There is and I'm an amateur weather guy. I talked to my weather people today. Don't hold me to this. There's a 40% chance of rain at 2 o'clock, okay? 40% is what it means. It's 40%. There's other storms that are supposed to come through between
that 40% of the city of Baton Rouge will get a
Yes. All right. So there are storms that are supposed to come through somewhere between, say, 3:30 and 5 o'clock. All right. After that, the chance of rain goes to almost nothing between 5 and 6, and there is no rain in the forecast to speak of all the way through Monday after that. So the bad news is they may not get started at 2 o'clock. We'll find out. The good news is that once they get started, they're probably not going to have to stop. Cokie Riley, I thought, did a really good job today of in the Advocate of talking about what goes into the rain decisions. And I've been asked this 5 times this morning, so let me get it out of the way. With whose decision is it? Jay Johnson's out there, with doing a rain dance or not? No, there's an NCAA rep that is from that goes to every site. There is representatives from the home site, which does game management, and then the other teams are represented. They meet, they look at it, the game management officials make a call. They try very hard not to start games if they don't think that they can finish them for obvious reasons with the pitching. Okay. Is there a 3-hour window available for them at 2 o'clock? Right now I would tell you no. I'm not a weather guy. That's just what we see. So the bad news is they may not start at 2. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to be raining at 2 o'clock, but it's probably going to be raining somewhere between 2 and 5. After the game starts, whether to stop it or not is up to the umpires. There's a lightning rule. It's, 8 miles, 30 minutes. Is it going to be lightning with a storm? I don't know. So you may be in for a long day, but the good news is that they're going to play at some point, given the weather forecast that we got. So got that out of the way. We got pitching matchups. We got weather updates. Jimmy, how you doing, man?
Doing great, man.
You watching people play golf in the rain? Where's it raining on them?
Come on, Charlie. It's Jack's tournament.
Oh, the Memorial. Okay.
Where is that?
The Memorial's in Ohio, right?
Columbus.
Yeah.
Okay. Rory didn't even.
Got other things to do.
No show, no call, no job.
You'll excuse me if my.
Come on, man. Bow down to the guy, bro.
Yeah, he's the guy. Now, golf hasn't been on my radar this week, but.
Well, Scheffler is playing in the rain, 2 under yesterday with a little bit windier conditions. He's 3 under through 6 today. Missed a 9-footer on 6, but he's coming out smoking. So here to start the second round. So he even yesterday he's still the favorite. We talked a lot about the bets with and without, and so. The withouts are in play because Scotty is definitely the favorite right now. Let me see the updated odds on that. What we got, Matt? You didn't defer to Max on the weather?
I did this one myself.
Scheffler, basically even money.
Yeah,
minus 110.
I did talk.
He was plus 240 before the round started today.
I did check with Max this morning, so
Oh, okay.
Including all of my guys. All right. In fact, we're starting here at right now. Holy Cross, North Carolina, Binghamton, Georgia, East Carolina, Florida, which is a really interesting game. The Aces are going there. Liam Peterson for Florida. And Kentucky and West Virginia all together now. and a rain delay as we start. Kentucky is throwing Ben Cleaver, the Slim Reaper, their Sunday starter.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, but I think their best arm. They are throwing him whenever
like
this
that
game
move?
gets. I do.
You're big on the whoa. You big pressure going from the Sunday guy to the Friday guy.
It is.
And so why do you like it then?
I like it because Kentucky chose to throw him on Sundays, not because he wasn't their best arm, but because, like Alabama, who threw their best arm on Saturdays, Cleaver is a really good pitcher. He's the best one they've got, in my opinion, but he is not Liam Doyle. He's not J.D. Thompson. He's not Cade Anderson. He's not Kyson Witherspoon. This is like pitching backwards.
Freshman?
I
think so.
Maybe so, yeah.
I think so. You don't think it was kind of trying to ease him in?
Also, yeah. You get a two for there.
93, Soraka was the 3. He was pretty damn good 3.
Yeah.
You know, and 91, he was the 3.
The last thing you want is to serve your best pitcher up to an elite guy. Cleaver's a really good pitcher. Is he any of those guys I just mentioned? He is not. At this point in his career, he's not. So they pitched it backwards. Nate Harris, who's their Friday night guy, is a good pitcher. I thought they might go with Cleaver today, and they did against West Virginia. That regional may be
after not throwing one Friday night all year.
Yeah.
But
I
contradicting yourself. You've said several times. A lot. Well, that's a big difference.
It is
going from the Friday night to Sunday to Friday, or the 3 to 1.
We
know what the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever.
Yeah.
But so I mean, all right. You think he would feel less pressure going against West Virginia than on the road against Clemson?
I think West Virginia doesn't have a Friday night guy the way that
they're throwing their ace.
They are throwing their ace.
They're Big 12 regular season champion.
They are a very good team. I don't think that he is as good as some of those guys I just named. So
he's not as good as what?
I don't think he's as good as Liam Doyle. I don't think he's as good as Kyson Witherspoon. I don't think he's as good as Cade Anderson.
But he's also a freshman.
Right.
So you put him into lower pressure situations, like,
and now
to your point.
And now he's at the end of the season, and let's see if he can go. I mean, I've been pitching him in the 3-hole all year. I can't pitch him in the 3-hole in the regional. I might not be there on Sunday if I do that.
If he's your second best, if he's one, you get a one or two. It's either today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean it's a risk, but I think he's their best arm, and I think after a season's
you don't think part of it is he will be a little. Why would you keep maybe your best arm because he's a freshman in a Sunday spot?
Because he's not
less
as
pressure.
Good. Yes,
okay.
and also because he's not as good as the other arms that he's facing. I think he's as good as this kid from West Virginia.
Well, I'll give you credit that Mingione's he shuffles his cards because he has to. He has to scheme. Okay, to try and get up. He can't just be like Tony Vitello. I'll pitch my ace no matter what. In game
right.
one. Or Jay Johnson. I'll pitch my ace no matter what in game one. I mean,
Tim Corbin.
I'm going to use up schemes against a team with a losing record. Crazy as that sounds. Oh, well, results oriented. They won a national championship. It was the right move. No, I don't agree.
Tim Corbin's throwing his ace. He's throwing J.D. Thompson today.
Well,
against Wright State.
You got the scoreboard there. So the Friday night starters or aces were like 9-4 and 3 unannounced.
8 announced pitching down, 4 announced pitching their ace, 4 didn't say.
Well, Kentucky. Kentucky.
That's
3.
My
bad. They're a 3 seed.
Yeah, they're 3.
So 2-1 so far with 4 undecided.
That's right.
And can we get an action on Jay Johnson be one of the last ones to announce?
That's
the guarantee, baby.
The only thing that's any problem there is that Oregon and UCLA are the other two that or two of the other ones that haven't announced, and they're the later games. Now I'll read you the stats, and the mental part is real. West Virginia starting Griffin Kern, who in 86 innings has a 3.32 ERA. And Kentucky starting Cleaver, who in 77 innings has a 3.39 ERA. And Cleaver's whip is a little bit better.
That's West Virginia's Friday guy.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and he's not as good as the other Friday guys.
It could be where, hey, we're playing in Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
My freshman, who I have taken into consideration his nerves.
Yeah.
I'm putting him against West Virginia, who's going to have friends and family there, instead of Clemson. That could be a tough place to pitch.
Sure.
Yeah,
and so that game is in a weather delay.
Clemson's beatable, by the way.
Clemson is, I would say, no better than 50-50 to get out of that regional. I think
What
West Virginia or
their odds are about that, huh?
Yeah, West Virginia or Kentucky could definitely get out of there. Here's the rest of your we mentioned who the aces are throwing. Tennessee is throwing Liam Doyle. Vitello doesn't move his rotation. North Carolina is throwing Jake Knapp against Holy Cross. This is probably the biggest surprise to me. I thought Carolina would pitch down. Holy Cross is 31-25. They got a triple-digit RPI. I thought UNC would pitch down. They are not. They're throwing Knapp. Vandy is throwing J.D. Thompson, and Oregon State is throwing their ace, Eric Segura. So you say you throw down, Jimmy. How far do you throw down? Well, we got a little bit of everything here today. Some of these teams are throwing down with bullpen games. Some of these teams are throwing down with their number 2 starters. Some of these teams are throwing down with their number 3 starters. Arkansas is not throwing any of their weekend guys. They're throwing Aiden Jimenez, who has been a reliever pretty much all season. By the way, did you realize, I didn't realize this until I read this morning, Arkansas's lost their last 2 regionals at home. I didn't. Southeast Missouri State beat them last year. I had forgotten that. Auburn is throwing Cam Tilley instead of Sam Dutton. He has 5 starts on the season. Southern Miss is throwing Matt Adams instead of J.B. Middleton, who is a projected late first-round pick. Adams is Southern Miss's Saturday guy. Texas is not throwing either of their first 2 guys. They're not throwing Ruger Riojas. They're throwing Ethan Walker, who has thrown 11 innings all season. Now, he's a wonderful prospect, but he's been out. He came back and threw 4 innings at the end of the season, threw 4 innings in the SEC tournament, shutout innings against Tennessee. Like what they saw, they're running back out there today. Georgia is holding Brian Curley. They're throwing Leighton Finley, who is their Sunday guy. Ole Miss is holding Hunter Elliott for Riley Maddox, who is their regular Saturday guy. Florida State is holding Jamie Arnold.
But who is Ole Miss throwing? They're throwing there too?
Their Saturday guy. Yeah, okay. Riley Maddox. Florida State is holding Jamie Arnold. They are throwing Joey Vellini, who is their regular Saturday guy and who has excellent numbers, by the way. Their 1-2 punch is on par with LSU's 1-2 punch. And Clemson is throwing a reliever, a spot starter who has 6 starts and 2 saves, named Drew Titsworth. We'll let that name go here for a second.
Oh, wow. Charlie.
I'm going to let that. You want to comment, you go right ahead.
Tracy, cover your ears.
She's out of town.
My God.
The
Titsworth.
Yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate
He's
name.
a middle reliever.
Not announced, Coastal Carolina, Oregon, UCLA, LSU. Some of the other games with pitching matchups that are interesting. Alabama's throwing Riley Quick. Their best arm, he threw Saturdays for them during the regular season. They'll throw him against Miami. And Mississippi State is holding Pico Cone, their Friday night guy.
Well, they're not a one. Right?
No. I said these are other games that caught my attention. Alabama and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Mississippi State's a 3 seed. They're holding Pico Cone against Northeastern, who has won 27 games in a row, trying to get to the finals of that thing. Interim coach, nothing to lose, right? Yesterday, Kendall Rogers broke the story that Brian O'Connor, the longtime coach at Virginia, is likely the next coach at Mississippi State. This would be a big get for them.
You think? How old is he?
He's my age. He's 53. So this would be a big get. National championship coach, played for another national championship. For a long time, I thought Brian O'Connor might succeed Paul Maneri here. He had coached on his staff at Notre Dame. But the move from the ACC to the SEC, you can spell it in 3 letters, NIL. And this is a guy who's won a title and played for another one. Looks like he's going to be the next coach at Mississippi State. So the interim coach says, what the hell, I ain't getting a job anyway. Let me see if I can win this regional and make me some money. Going to throw down today, try to beat Northeastern, and then say Pico Cone for the marble game if they can get through.
Well, I don't mean to correct you, but it doesn't mean NIL. It means player pay. I mean, there's not a whole lot of big businesses that are pumping money for commercials into the big market. I know. I'm just, player pay.
Yeah. Well,
I was proud of Ross Challenger too for on his appearance with Dan Patrick could identify that. Funny they didn't call this about NIL, but anyway. But yeah, absolutely. You think Charlottesville, Virginia, they got people that care about baseball as much as they do in Stark or the Mississippi State support group?
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't. And his program is one of the more well-supported programs too. And again,
really, his budget is pretty good.
It's not bad. Yeah,
he's won.
Yes, look at their record. They've been very, very good. This is we talked about this when Dusty May had the chance to take the Louisville job or the Michigan job. What historically is a better job? Louisville, all day and all night. The money that's going in to the ACC schools versus the Big Ten schools and the SEC schools is just not there.
I want to clarify, though. You say they're supported because they had success. Look, Cal State Forwards won a gazillion games with zero.
They did.
Budget, okay? So, but I'm saying, you know what their budget is?
Yes, they are very well supported.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know to
why
the penny,
is he leaving?
Because they're
not supported as much as the SEC. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And if Mississippi State is firing, they're making a move on the guy mid-season who gave the school, not the baseball program, the school, their only national championship game. They have to have some boosters that are ready to put their money where their mouth is.
They're fishing in deep water, for sure. What's for lunch?
Charlie, what's at Rufino's today? We have the appetizer features, our lobster risotto. Chilled lobster salad with a creamy risotto, asparagus, and some herb oil. The bluefin tuna crudo. Hello. Fresh bluefin tuna, mango, chili oil, melted in salt with the ginger with the yuzu ponzu tempura. Hello. Stuffed redfish is one of our entree features today. Seafood stuffing with andouille velouté. I believe that's right. Sweet chili glazed Brussels sprouts. The suggested wine pairing is a stout family Sauvignon Blanc from Napa. Lamb chops, pistachio crusted New Zealand lamb chops with the orzo pasta salad. Cane syrup gastrique with the suggested wine pairing is the Archery Summit Pinot Noir from Willamette region. Bananas Foster bread pudding is this weekend's dessert features as well.
Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
East Carolina has jumped out on Liam Peterson, the Florida ace, for 2 runs, and they're still batting in the top of the first inning. 2 on and 2 out, and it's 2-0 East Carolina here in the one game that we've got scoring in.
Interesting matchup because, Florida last year, I mean, they had such an underachieving, not underachieving, but a down year last year. They were lucky to get in. And what they do, they went to Stillwater as a 3 seed. They got out of there and then went to the Super and won that as well. So East Carolina, who has been to postseason play, I don't know, 7 or 8 straight times.
8 of the last 9 times and 7 straight.
7 straight, but they had to win their tournament. When's the last time they had to win their tournament to get in? And they did. And so they had a much worse season than what they usually have, but here they are. No stranger to postseason being just fine early on.
Florida was one of the hottest teams in the country at the end of the regular season. After they got out of the gate 1-11. I think everybody knew that. They won. Well, they swept Missouri, which was easy. They beat Mississippi State in the series. They won the series against Arkansas in Gainesville. They swept South Carolina. They won the series at Texas. They were the only team to win a series in Austin all year. And then they took 2 out of 3 from Alabama to win the regular season. They lost a close game in the SEC tournament. Had they advanced a little bit further there, they had a shot at a host site. Ole Miss ended up getting that spot, but right now they find themselves in a 2-0 hole. And stop me if you've heard this one before. We've got multiple games in rain delays right now. They are not starting in Athens, Max. They will not start for at least 2 hours, is what they're saying there. As another walk from Peterson reloads the bases here for East Carolina. 2-run lead already.
No, he's out of it.
Oh, I thought they. Okay, I'm sorry.
I thought
he was walking down towards first base.
Right. Well, it was called strike.
Yeah. Oh wow, he's going down to first base, and they appealed. That was a lousy call. Okay. 2-0 going to bottom of the first for Florida and East Carolina.
Play at the plate, the catcher for Florida dropped the ball for one of the runs. He was easily out, but he just dropped the ball.
There you go. So Kentucky and West Virginia in a rain delay, Binghamton and Georgia in a rain delay. So we'll have 2 games going for a while here. This Florida-East Carolina game and North Carolina and Holy Cross, which is scoreless in the bottom of the first. So that's where we are here to start this thing. Max, you have you have no headphones. You believe that the rain is going to catch them at some point. If they don't believe they got a 3-hour window, they probably will not start at 2:00. So how far can you push this back and get started? Do you have a 3-hour window? I don't know if they're going to have a 3-hour window at 2:00. We'll see.
You and Max are going head up on this one.
What do you think? I think we're saying the same thing. You don't think this game will start at 2:00, do you? You're a maybe. Okay, well, great. 50% chance, right?
Yes or no, Max? I mean, what the hell? What is this hedging
Jimmy's going to hold you to a decision so he can tell you that you're wrong later.
You're saying one thing, he's saying another. Now it's like, I don't know.
I'm saying
I don't know.
Nobody knows for sure. It's no
freaking crap.
I will go on record as saying I don't think they'll have a 3-hour window.
Today. I don't know, but I'm not going to tell you where my opinions are.
I do not think they will have a 3-hour window at 2:00. No, I do not. I think they will get started later and get it in, and I think they'll get all of the basement. Yeah,
you show up 2 minutes before airtime. This is what you get on. Come on, bro.
My goodness.
Damn.
Did you watch the basketball game last night?
All Knicks, man. Here we go. Deja vu. 33 years ago. The Knicks, the Pacers had a 3-1 lead going into New York in Game 5, and they got beat. So now we go back to Indiana. Remember the layup dunk in lane shots meter? Mm-hmm. Well, it was completely. Now we could see the final score and see the scoring decline for the Indiana Pacers last night. Had something to do with the Knicks playing defense. I mean, how can you play in the playoffs and not get after it defensively? You need your home crowd to do that.
I don't know.
You need to be facing elimination to do that. I mean, that's crazy.
I ask this question all the time in the NBA, okay, about how can the performances be so drastically. I get home court advantage. I get momentum and all that stuff. But when the games there's 30-point differentials in how these games, you go from 15-point wins to 17-point losses. I go, where's your head?
Well, this is not just been sort of that. That Spurs Hornets, New Orleans Hornets
that's
series,
the series that's
where it goes
back
life. And forth until the 7th game. All right,
that one's scarred for life.
Especially the Knicks. The Knicks have been better on the road than they are at home. So this was just that the 9-8 now in the postseason. A team once they start facing elimination. Now if they, that's this game and that's next game and out of Game 7. It doesn't count where both teams. It's advance or go home. But it's just the defensive intensity. How do the other thing is, the big Halliburton superstar conversation. Well, Halliburton was just off last night, huh? He just missed his shots. No, he only took 7. He took 7. Yeah. Now, he's not a guy with some of the big players that's going to, blow you off the ball, super explosive. He kind of feels his way through there. But the point is, 7 shots, if you're going to be one of the best ones, I got to try and help impact a game more than just okay, I'm defending now. I can't get my shot off.
And how many of those shots? Well, the fourth quarter game had pretty much been decided. But we say this with Towns in Game 1 of the the first series? He took 0 shots in the fourth quarter.
Towns, the Pacers just don't have a guy that can match up with him. So he can get his when he wants, and he did. But he got some more from fouls. He was on the set last night.
I saw that, yeah. They asked him.
Give credit? No, they didn't.
Barkley asked the question.
Asked him.
Yeah, of course. Who else? He said, why you make so many dumb fouls?
Yeah. What's up with the dumb fouls,
What's up with the dumb fouls? And Towns was kind of sheepish. He's like, I can't do that.
Towns actually showed a little bit of sense and awareness. And maybe he just wanted when you get caught up in your energy and you can be a little bit more emotional. he actually showed me a little bit of a hope as far as he's got some activity up there between the ears. But it's over and over with him. And when he removed himself from the game, the Pacers got the lead in half for 20-10. But I think we got a great Game 6, on Saturday. There's some pressure now on the Pacers. I mean, this is their last home game. And, unlike the Knicks, they're 2-0 at home. So,
just like the Knicks when they had Game 6 against Boston in the Garden, they didn't want to go back to Boston.
Right.
And then they came out with all of that.
They smashed them.
And that's what Indiana's facing.
And sort of the zigzag about it. The zigzag hits again. I mean, the team that loses a game, you bet them the next. You bet them to cover it. It hit last, and the line is up to 4 on game. Game 6 in Indianapolis tomorrow night. We got something. That's it. Hockey's done. The other side is done. At least we have one more game for the postseason. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds Legacy Title. For all of your real estate closings, 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, what you get when you call 296-0060. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Rufino's. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. 3 best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Troy, how you doing, buddy? How was your Memorial Day weekend?
It was good. We're rebuilding a new house, so I spent most of my weekend, hanging cabinets and building a deck. So, had some stuff streaming in the background, but haven't gotten the Wi-Fi and the cable TV in yet. So it's been kind of a rough go.
Okay, all right. Well, go get them, man. At least you're picking good weather, to kind of do out this springtime up in your area is not bad. Spring/summer, transition. Let's get to what we've been talking about in depth here, and whether the number 1 seeds in the college baseball the tournament they're pitching now. Basically, what we have is 8 have decided to. Because they have such a big match advantage, 1 versus 4. They're going to hold their ace pitcher till later in the tournament. 4 of them are going to throw their ace, and 4 are undecided at this point. But let's get to the action in some of these regionals because it is interesting. But where has the action been? We'll start with the regionals before we get to the futures to win the whole thing.
Yeah, there are 2 teams that we've taken more money to win their respective region than any of the other teams by basically 2 times. I'll give you number 3 in total regional winner money, and that's LSU. Now they're like one of the strongest favorites to win their region. I think they're like minus 860, which is just crazy short. 6.8% of all regional winner money is on your Tigers.
Minus 670 as we speak right now.
Okay, so that's moved in the last hour and a half. I got this down this morning. Second is Oregon State at 12%, so nearly twice as much money on Oregon State at LSU. And then number 1 is Florida State at minus 125 at 14%. So Florida State and Oregon State are responsible for a quarter of all regional money.
Wow, and Oregon State is only minus 143. Right as I'm looking at it right now. So, and that's the second most bet. What were they, Max, early in the week? They were like even money?
They were a little higher than that because I will say, you were a bit of Charlie was a bit of a fan of TCU. That number's gone up quite a bit. They went from plus 125 that you could see them as high as like 160, 180 now. So there's been action clearly across the market on Oregon State.
Tallahassee, which you talked about, the most bet regional. They're only minus 125, Charlie. Mississippi State, even though they're a 3 seed, is the second choice at plus 225. Northeastern at plus $3. Here's the fun part. Northeastern has dominated, has been unbelievable. And you know what's funny? I was listening to a college baseball podcast before the season started, and there was one guy that was talking about Northeastern. And I was like, really? Okay. So, but the caliber of competition is very weak. This is the mid-major. I mean, this is your who was our team out in Cal San Diego?
UC San Diego.
Yeah, UC San Diego. I mean, here they are, Troy. This is our UC San Diego in Northeastern.
Yeah, and hey, I'm a big fan of them having a lot of high school classmates who went to Northeastern, and you see this in every regional or at least one regional every year. There's an upset where a favorite doesn't win, and usually the favorites even having home field advantage. So I one of my fun things about the first weekend of the college baseball tournament is just the upsets. It's very similar to the college basketball tournament, but I think there's far more parity between the Power 5 conferences in basketball than the low mid majors in baseball than in baseball. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a much bigger gulf in baseball than there is basketball, and yet we still see some pretty shocking results. Not a ton. It's never when we have like 5 or 6 regional winners who are all not the favorite or deep underdogs. So the interesting thing is, speaking of plus money regional winners, is when I look at by tickets. And this is, again, putting all the regions together and kind of seeing who has the most tickets. The most popular, UC Irvine, they're plus 150. Second is Oregon State. Third is Georgia Tech, plus 225. Fourth is Auburn, minus 250. And fifth is Oklahoma State at plus 800, 6% of the regional winner tickets.
Wait now, up, so Troy, you went through those really fast. UC Irvine, then missed the 2 before Georgia Tech.
UC Irvine, Oregon State.
Okay.
Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Auburn.
Okay.
And then technically, it's Texas A&M, but I did not include them because they are not included in the NCAA tournament.
That's funny Aggies.
Well, you play this audience right there. Making fun of them.
Are they betting on the Aggies? They not in the field? Charlie, that's dead money.
There's an Aggie joke in here that's so easy, right?
Yeah, and then Oklahoma State at plus 800, 6% of the tickets. UC Irvine, 9% of the tickets. They're the most popular team to win any region. And
my diehard podcast parlay was, a couple of regionals. I think it was Oregon, North Carolina, Max, and then the one dog I threw in there was UC Irvine. So, Charlie, UC Irvine and their RPI, they were under consideration for a long time to possibly get it one of the top 16 seeds.
And they got twice as many Q1 wins as the host site, UCLA. So this is a very capable team. If these teams were playing on a neutral site, UC Irvine, in my opinion, would be favored in a 3-game series. So the edge goes to UCLA at home. Troy,
they're traveling across town, too.
Right.
From the orange.
We've seen that park. It ain't much, okay? And the support for UCLA baseball, it's not like they're going to have 7,000 people out there.
It plays big.
No, it's a big park, but I'm saying it doesn't.
Oh, it's not intimidating.
No, not at all.
Not by any stretch.
There's no crowd.
No.
Troy, you said the gulf between the teams at the top and the bottom in college baseball. I agree. The weather's got a lot to do with that. There are power conference schools that don't even field baseball teams like Colorado and Iowa State. But I will tell you that last year, only 10 of the 16 host sites advanced to the Super Regionals, which of the 16. So you did have 6 non-host sites get through to the Super Regional round a year ago.
Okay, so 10 advanced and 6 didn't. That's okay.
Yeah.
Now, Troy, we got to clarify now. Look, March Madness this past year and March Madness 10 years ago are completely different stories, bro. Yeah. They've scooped up on, Florida's going to get Iona's best player, and, Alabama's going to get Ohio's best player, and on we go. So it's
and the parity switch. When we started this format in 1999, if a home site lost, that was big news. I mean, it was close to
it was like 13 of the 16.
14. Yeah. There weren't many. Yeah. That has shrunk over the years.
Yeah. Okay. But Northeastern's going to be a fun team to watch. Very, very much so. So in that Tallahassee regional, so they're not pitching Jamie Arnold.
They no, but
they have a number 2. It's very good.
Number 2 is really good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Troy, where was the action last night? I kind of sense we're kind of betting Knicks money line, but not on the spread last night with the Pacers Knicks.
Yeah, we took a loss on last night. Actually, no, sorry, I was looking at the wrong game. We took a win of about mid to high 6 figures.
Okay.
I think a lot of people were on the Pacers to close it out. The Knicks have been very gutsy but inconsistent, and you figure if it's close, it's probably going to be the Pacers, and if the Pacers are up big, it's probably going to be the Knicks. And that wasn't the case. It was Knicks leading the way for most of the game. And I don't know how many games there have been in which the Knicks have kind of led tape to tape. Not a huge, but they certainly were up big, in the third quarter. So I'm very fascinated to see where this Game 6 plays out because I think the NBA would love to have a Knicks-Pacers Game 7. The more they can have the Knicks, the better. Obviously, there's a rivalry here dating back to the 90s, but also it's been, rejuiced with Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton, who we know they're stars. We know they're certainly not Durant and LeBron and Giannis, but this postseason, they have taken their games to the next level. They are going to be the next crop of superstars up there with the SGAs and the Anthony Edwards. Make no mistake about that. Tyrese Halliburton is a superstar. You will be seeing his face all over the place for the next 5 to 10 years. I'm just really fascinated to see where the betting is because people have been betting on the Pacers a good bit in the last 2 games, and I think that's where the Knicks like it, is being the underdog. That's Stibbs' MO, is run people into the ground, play the underdog, be gritty, and they have talent, so it really does help out.
Well, it was, it's a little bit just inexcusable for the defensive intensity to vary that much from one game to the next. I mean, the Pacers scored 42 in the first quarter. They had, in Game 4, they had 50 in the middle of the third yesterday. I mean, it was a little bit more. And Halliburton, they got and they defended him so much. Halliburton only got off 7 shots. Halliburton has to try and do more, to be more aggressive too, to get more shots in 7 when you get handled like that. You're the guy. But a little bit of both. But yeah, I think it's all of a sudden does it put a little bit of doubt, a little bit of. There's a little bit of carryover momentum here for the Knicks, is there?
Oh, absolutely.
Just the way they handled them?
Yeah, absolutely. And they have been a very good road team. They know that they can go on the they know they can go on the road. So absolutely, I think it carries over.
They won.
I think that also the Pacers might be getting tired. That was the first game last night where that was not a Pacers-like effort. They've been very even-keeled this entire playoff. And like I said about Tom Thibodeau, I mean, if you go back and look at any team he's coached, he would play Jimmy Butler 50 minutes in a 40-minute game. His players have endurance. They can play long. And they're very tough, hard-nosed. So when it gets deep waters, Game 6, Game 7, against a team like Indiana that might be getting a little tired here, even though the Knicks have been up and down, I like the mentality of the Knicks. Even with their backs against the wall, more than the Pacers, who really, they have all the pressure. They were supposed to win last night. Like, to lose a series after being up 3-1, we know that doesn't go away quickly. Ask the Warriors, even though, they've won championships before and after. We all remember 3-1, that NBA Finals against the Cavaliers. So there's a lot of pressure on the Pacers, and I think they might be getting a little tired.
30 years ago, they were down 3-1. They won Game 5. They went to Indianapolis and won Game 6 before they lost Game 7. So we'll have to see. But here's the numbers, Charlie. To your point, Knicks on the road, 6-2, straight up and against the spread. 6-2 on the road in the playoffs. But the zigzag. Whoever wins the previous game, they cover the next? 19 games over 500 in this postseason. So the Pacers are the zigzag team in this one, and I think the zigzag is respected by that number at 4. That's a little high that we're looking at there. Troy, any got a UFC card? Some people, it's kind of lukewarm on it, but we do have one. Any thoughts on this weekend's card?
Yeah, there's 2 interesting fights. One's the main event, Erin Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. The winner of this fight will fight for the title in the women's flyweight division. Both fighters have won at least 6 in a row. Blanchfield's minus 230. Macy Barber, who is has fought 12 times in the UFC, and she's still like 23, 24 years old. It's kind of crazy. She's plus 180. I think Blanchfield's the better fighter, and if this goes to the decision, Blanchfield will win. But I think there's good value on Macy Barber to finish via TKO, KO, or DQ. She's finished 3 of her last 5 fights. And then there's another one I really like in Matthias Gamrot and Ludovic Klein, over 2.5 rounds. These guys are both decision fighters. Their average, both of them are averaging around 13 minutes of fight time in a 15-minute fight. So I really like that. But here's the thing. Yeah, it's a decent card, I suppose. Next weekend, huge card. We got Sean O'Malley fighting Merab Dvalishvili for the championship again. Dvalishvili beat O'Malley for his first ever loss a couple months ago. Kayla Harrison, former Olympic gold medalist, is fighting Juliana Pena, who's the women's bantamweight champion. That should be an amazing fight, and that one is really interesting because Pena, who's the only woman to beat Amanda Nunes, former two-division women's champion and GOAT of women's mixed martial arts, she's plus 500. I think she could submit Harrison. Harrison's a wrestler. She's amazing. But I think there's good value, pizza money value, on Pena to win at 5-1 or even to win via submission at 9-1. I expect Harrison to win, but there are some really good fights next weekend. If you're not going to watch this weekend, save your energy for next weekend when we got a massive card.
All right. You call it pizza money. We call it gumbo money down here. So, same old, same old. Good stuff, Troy. Good. Follow Troy on Twitter at Troy Macker. That's MACHIR, MACHIR. Thank you, Troy.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right. East Carolina got something going again in the top of the second inning. They are batting around the Florida Ace early on. Don't forget our friends at Total Maintenance. Total Maintenance, one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. Service today, every day, means same-day service. You'll never sleep hot. Call today. Get service today. AC heating and generator installations and maintenance. Factory-authorized dealers for Carrier, American Standard, Dakin, and Rheem products. I mean, it is not fun. Scheffler with a double bogey on 10 as well. Oh, man, things are going on. Membership programs that cover all the services with discounts and extended warranties. We'll let you know when it's time for your unit to be serviced. Total Maintenance, 480-1000, 480-1000.
Something's happened to Florida that hasn't happened to them all year. We'll tell you what that is when we come back and tell you about how big a hole this is for the Gators. Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Odd and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So Florida gets out of it not before 4 runs have come across in the first 2 innings. 4-0 ECU going to the bottom of the second inning. What has happened to Florida that hasn't happened all year is that their ace, Liam Peterson, did not get out of the second inning. This is by far his shortest outing of the year. He had gone at least 4 innings in every regular start this year and had made it into the 7th of a number of these things. He doesn't get out of the second. He gets 4 outs. So they go to Luke McNeely, who gave up a run. Actually gave up 2. One of them was charged back to both of them, were charged back to Peterson. He is 5-2 in the season, 4.65 ERA. He is 4th on the team in innings pitched. He is one of their main relievers.
How many pitches did he throw?
Peterson?
Yeah. You bring it back Sunday or Monday, if there is a Monday, but you definitely bring it back with about 35, 40 pitches.
Yeah. You know what? I already took that box score and moved it, but probably not many more than that. Over at Chapel Hill, the
double play ball there, though.
They are moving this game. No score, top of the 4th inning, Holy Cross in North Carolina, and 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning. So they played less than an hour, and they're already 2 outs into the top of the 4th inning. So that game is moving along. North Carolina did throw their ace, Knapp, today against Holy Cross, who I'm assuming threw their ace too. If he's handcuffed North Carolina through 3 innings, that's pretty good. Hour number 2 coming straight ahead. We'll also have an update from out at the box with Doug Thompson plus Bruce Marshall live at lunch from Rufino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
He's out there somewhere in the world. Maybe even your local sports book.
Can anybody help us?
Let's bring in Bruce Marshall.
Brucey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, pretty good, Jimmy. Pretty good, baby.
All right, we give you an update as we continue to monitor these games. East Carolina on top of Florida, top of the 3rd, 4-0, batting with 1 on and 1 out. North Carolina gets their first hit of the game. 1 out into the bottom of the 4th, a 1-out triple for Carolina, no score. Knapp has only thrown 44 pitches through for the ace for Carolina.
Peterson threw 48, by the way, for Florida. You asked before the break for Florida.
Yeah, he can come back with, he can throw a good 70, on Sunday. if they need him. So, Bruce, hockey is done in one series still going. That's the Knicks and the Pacers. How about the Knicks decide to play a little defense last night? I mean, the Pacers had 42 at the end of the first quarter in Game 4. They were sitting at 50 middle of the third quarter last night. So, and the whole debate about Halliburton, superstar or not, whatever. I mean, geez, but he was been really good. But he only 7 shots. Is that where some of the critics come in for Halliburton? I mean, some of the great ones, we're going to get more than 7 shots off in the playoffs from my team.
Yeah, I think so, Jimmy. I mean, that's a valid one of the valid complaint against Halliburton, because there are some games when the opponents have taken him out of the game, which is what happened last night. Now, I thought Indiana would be up to going in there and stealing that one last night if they were as sharp as they were earlier in the series. But it was pretty evident from the go last night, from the off, that they weren't quite as dialed in. And it just became a frustrating evening. The Knicks are playing very aggressively on defense, and the refs weren't calling a lot of the stuff, so that's an entree for New York to do what it does best. If there was a development beyond that last night, because I don't think we can expect Indiana to be as flat in Game 6. But Tom Thibodeau did get some better work from his bench last night, and especially when Cat was out for a stretch there in the third period, and even Brunson sitting. I mean, they didn't lose for a little bit. They lost. The Pacers chipped away, but eventually the backups, Delon Wright and Achua and the others, they sustained the lead and actually extended it. So, better late than never if Thibodeau can get that sort of production from his bench. Although the question is, was that a one-off last night? Is that going to replicate in Game 6? And if it does, Indiana's in trouble. My gut feeling, it doesn't. So I think this series probably ends tomorrow night, but I'm kind of glad to see it go a little bit further. These conference finals, both hockey and basketball, have gone a bit too quick. At least this one's given us something to watch.
That would be the zigzag theory as far as the team who lost outright the previous game. Will they cover the next game? 19 games over 500 this postseason, Bruce. And I think sort of the number is baked into that because what were they, like 2? 1.5 for 2.5 games, 3 in Game 4 against the Knicks. This one is up to 4.
Yeah, they're expecting the zigzag here, and I think everybody sort of saw through that last night that was probably an outlier. It doesn't mean the Knicks can't win. I mean, they have now outscored the Pacers by 6 in the first 5 games of this series. Now, plus 17 last night helped that, but I mean, even these weren't easy wins that Indiana had earlier in the series. I just think the Knicks are going to have to play both ends of the court at a very high level for 2 games in a row. And I'm not sure they can do that, but we'll see. I'm leaning to the Pacers tomorrow. And probably another over, although we didn't get there last night, but that's generally been the pattern of these teams this season when they've met. So I think it'll look more like Game 4 than last night.
All right, we are set for a rematch for the Stanley Cup. It'll be Florida and the Oilers. The only difference, though, Florida won that Game 7 on home ice in South Florida. This year, Edmonton has home ice. Game 1 will be on June the 4th. And the Oilers, a slight favorite in this one. Your thoughts?
Yeah, here's where, the NHL often delivers this because, the regular season, this year in the Stanley Cup, the home ice held a little bit more than it usually does. But neither of these teams were the top seeds in their conferences or close to it. But it's been pretty obvious in the playoffs who's been the best team in each conference. Edmonton still, it's a different team than it was at the start of the Kings series, and they looked like they were going out, and they really struggled. They made the goalie switch, and they had a couple of hairy games in 3 and 4 at home against the Kings, but since then they've been on a roll. Things have just worked out right since then. Now, they won the first 6 games that Cal Pickard was in there for Skinner. Pickard got hurt and they had to go back to Skinner, and they lost that next game against Vegas, but since then he has been absolutely outstanding in goal, and everything is clicking for Edmonton. It's a rematch from last year. The one thing about Florida, I find it's an interesting angle. They end up surviving these series. They do have a tendency to sort of drop their guard in closeout games. If you remember a year ago, they had a 3-0 lead on Edmonton in the final. You let the Oilers come all the way back and force a Game 7. The other night against Carolina, they had a closeout game there at home, and they couldn't do it. Just like the previous round against Toronto. They had a closeout game there in Game 6 at home, and they went flat. But they have seemed the ability to come back is pretty is pretty apparent there. And when they bear down, they are awfully tough to beat. So much depth. We'll see. Something tells me Edmonton might get this one, though. I mean, in the great players, the McDavid and Draisaitl, I mean, to burnish their legacies, they really need a Stanley Cup, and that's not the only reason why I think they could win. Skinner has been really good in goal, and Florida's great, though, so it's a great series, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this one go all the way to 7 like last year.
Hey, Bruce, Max here. I'm very young in my NHL fandom, but I was a little perplexed seeing Jake Ottinger pulled last night in the first period, and then Pete DeBoer in the postgame kind of throwing him under the bus. What did you think about that?
A little surprised, although Ottinger had not been having a great series, so I think he came in on sort of a short leash. But they weren't really his fault. The first 2 goals, there were breakdowns in front of him, but then again, he didn't come up big like they expect him to in Dallas to stop those things. So I think DeBoer at that point was just looking for a spark. And this had not, and Ottinger had sort of struggled in the series. I mean, there's no way normally you'd want DeSmith in there instead of Ottinger, but I think DeBoer maybe rightly realized we got to do something here, and sometimes that's what you have to do. But after the game, I thought he could have been a little more phrased it that way. We're just looking for a spark, and we just had to do something. But that did surprise me a little bit post game.
All right, Brucey in Major League Baseball, Yankees-Dodgers. Here we go. So the top 2 teams in each league, and they'll be at Chavez Ravine Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Your thoughts on this series?
Yeah, rematch of the World Series. I actually saw the Yankees this week because I came back from Florida through California, so I saw the Tuesday night game in Anaheim. And that 3-2 game, as long as they don't have to put Devin Williams in the game in the 9th inning, the Yankees look like they got things going pretty good. They've got other options in the bullpen too, but they're hot now, 9 of 10, and they got the pitching matchup they want tonight. Max Fried, at this moment, if you had to award a Cy Young in the AL, he might get it. He's got a 7-0 record. His ERA is 1.29. And against Gonsolin, who might be the weakest link in what is a somewhat ragged Dodger rotation now. Now, they've been hanging above water here, but the Dodgers' record against the better teams this season is not that great. I like the pitching matchup tonight with Fried. Dodgers blew that game in Cleveland on Wednesday, so they've had 2 days to think about that. And by the way, the Yankees have been in Southern California, so this is not like normally a long trip into L.A. They've been here all week waiting for the Dodgers to come in. So tonight, at least, this shapes up pretty good. I would think the Yankees are worth a look. It's not too prohibitive a price of Fried, and that's the pitching matchup for sure New York would like tonight.
Yankees have outscored their opponents this year by 113 runs. That is the best in Major League Baseball. But it's not the best record. They have they're a game and a half better than the Dodgers this year, but the National League is so much better than the American League this year. But the number one in a team that's about to have a pretty favorable schedule going into June, the Detroit Tigers, who swept them. They were all close, but they swept the Giants during the week, and now they are, again, the best record in baseball at 37-20.
Yeah, you think back, last year, early August, right after the trade deadline, and they moved Flaherty out, and they weren't making moves that looked like a team that was, because they really weren't. they're on the very fringe, the periphery of the wild card discussion, just because they weren't like mathematically out of it. But man, they've been their pace since the start of August has been something else. I'm interested in this series this weekend at Kansas City. This could be sort of a challenge, but they've been up to it. Mize goes tonight, and he's been very good lately. So
it's been great.
I would think Detroit. Let's just keep riding them, maybe.
All right, Brucey, we appreciate it, my man. Good luck. That was that 3-2 game. It was 3-0. That was the Rodon game, right? Where he was unbelievable again. And it was 3-0 to the ninth, and Williams gave up 2 runs, and he had to hang on. So I love that. I love Anaheim Stadium, man. It's I don't know. It's just much easier to maneuver in that part of LA compared to Chavez Ravine. So I've enjoyed when I go to that area.
Yeah, Orange County is a little bit different than LA. That's for sure.
just a tad. Is Irvine actually in Orange County? I know it's in that area. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
So they make the trip up to Westwood to UCLA to play this weekend for their the regional.
Yeah, that's right.
That's one of the underdogs over on. Brucey, great stuff as always, man. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good weekend, boys.
All right, North Carolina has a little bit different. Second time through the lineup for this Holy Cross Ace. It was 10 up, 10 down to start the game, but on a triple, RBI single, RBI double, and another RBI single, 3-0, still batting 2 on, 2 out in the bottom of the fourth. So North Carolina has broken out. This was scoreless going into the bottom of the fourth. It's now 3-0 Tar Heels. Again, Knapp has only pitched 44 pitches. The ace. Of all of them, this is the one that surprised me the most to go with Knapp, because it is a big drop-off from him to the rest. He's their Skeens. He's their guy. He's as good as anybody in the country, this year in a quality league. And so that's the one that really surprised me the most.
Me as well. In Conway, South Carolina, things are going from bad to worse for Florida. It is now a 6-0 hole. East Carolina up. Florida is now on pitcher number 3.
Number 3.
Not good.
Not good. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. At United Community Bank, your business is our business. We support the hard-working folks behind local business. From initial startup loans to ongoing planning and assessments, United Community Bank is here for you. Contact our great team of bankers, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry, Prentice Wilkes, and discuss how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Today's show also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, because when it comes to retirement, no two situations are the same. Let Coastal Capital Advisors tailor a plan for your family's need, no matter what your age or your financial situation. The bottom line is Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, as well as your business partners and tax professionals, to build a lifetime relationship. And I know, because that's exactly what they've done for me. For more information, call Phil Fontenot and his staff, 337-981-1376, online, coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, member FINRA SIPC. You just never can tell. East Carolina lost 6 of their last 7 conference series. They won only one time since the middle of April. They had lost their last 4 conference series going into the American tournament. South Florida, who they had lost to in their last 2 games by a combined score of 16-5, they beat in 2 games in the American tournament. And they also eked out a 1-run win against Charlotte. That got them to Sunday. Winner-take-all game with Tulane. Winner-take-all, I mean winner gets in the big tournament, and the loser is done for the season. They win that game 8-2. And they have just opened up a can of whoop-ass on Florida. It's 6-0 in the top of the 4th inning. Florida has replaced their ace, Liam Peterson, and one of their top relievers in McNeely, who came in and threw 39 pitchers and didn't fare any better than Peterson did. So they've gone to a freshman in Blaine Rowland, who's only thrown 12 innings all season. Now, they've been 12 good innings. He's got an ERA at 2, but he's going to have to stick around for a while and hope that Florida can peck away at this thing. But we're in the top of the 4th inning, and it is 6-0 East Carolina. Came in limping, but caught enough fire in that American tournament to come into this thing with some momentum. In North Carolina,
Florida's getting Floridaed. The number 3 seed. I mean, East Carolina, usually much better. I mean, it's, the 7 straight appearances. How many times have they hosted, too? I mean, about half of them.
Yeah, several of those times so, they did.
This is, the billion-dollar question. What happened to Godwin's crew this year? Where they had to scramble. But now they are, and they're no stranger. The stage doesn't bother them. And certainly the stage didn't bother Florida, in Stillwater last year when they were a 3 seed.
And this has not been cheap. Florida did make one error at the plate, but other than that, the rest of this, they have just hammered the ball all over the park. That's I think that's their 9th hit that we just saw as they got the leadoff man on yet again against the Florida freshman. So this has not been cheap. This
constant traffic.
It's now 9 hits to none. Florida does not have a hit in the game through the first 3 innings. In fact, I don't know. Do they even have a base runner? They might not even have a base runner through 4 innings.
They had a meeting in the dugout earlier. It's kind of
I wonder what they said. Yeah. Because
let's see.
This guy's faced him. No, how'd the other guy? Oh, he had a strikeout and a wild pitch is the only reason he hasn't faced the minimum. The guy reached on a wild pitch on a strikeout. That's it. That's Florida's only base runner.
We saw a difference in the bottom of the 4th for North Carolina the second time through the lineup, starting pitcher for Holy Cross. So maybe the Florida, the second look at the East Carolina starter will produce some different results. But all East Carolina early.
Yeah, they have. They have knocked the Florida pitching staff around, and still 3-0 North Carolina and Holy Cross. The other 2 games, if you're joining us late, have been put into rain delay. Georgia and Binghamton, and Kentucky and West Virginia have both been put into weather delays. We're going to go out to the box here at the bottom of the hour. Doug Thompson will tell us what's going on here, but we're getting into that 90 minutes before where lineups are going in, and that doesn't mean that they can't decide 10 minutes before official first pitch, hey, we're in a weather delay.
It's a max Friday, with the weather all over the place, hit and miss with this stuff, and including at the Memorial up in Columbus, Ohio, where Scotty Scheffler's been playing through the raindrops, and he looked like he was on his way. Birdied 3 of the first 5 holes and had an under 10-foot putt on 6 to go 4 under. He missed that one. Then things came apart. He doubled. He did gain a stroke back, but through 12, he's 3 under for the day, 5 under for the tournament. He was dealing with the tougher conditions in the afternoon yesterday. So but Ben Griffin, who it was a story, I don't know if it's grandpa that they named, the swamp after or not. But anyway, he won in New Orleans. Then he won last week, and he had the round of the day. He had the low round yesterday, 7 under. So Scheffler, we'll see. He just teed off. He parred the first hole. The low round today on 18, Sammy Burns.
Okay.
Sam Burns at 6 under through 17 today. He was 4 over entering today, so 2 under for the tournament. T7 right now, but low round today. Max,
impressive.
Surprise?
Yeah, very surprised. He's known as Bermuda Burns. These are bent grass greens. It's not exactly the best fit.
How will they play damp like this, though, where they're playing through the rain?
Well, I'm sure. I would imagine. I haven't seen a whole lot of it today, so I don't know if they're playing the ball down or not. They might be playing preferred lies today, but I mean the scoring average is going to end up being about 1.5 strokes over par, so he is well above that. A 6 under par round is very impressive. He's on the 18th hole, which plays pretty difficult, but that's a surprise to see him playing well, and we'll see. It's interesting, Jimmy, that Ryder Cup's coming up, and there are a whole lot of names on the back end of the U.S. team that are up for grabs. There's a lot of uncertainty with that sort of 9 to 12 range as to who's going to make the team. Ben Griffin's somebody who's sort of vaulted himself in that contention right now, but Burns is still in the mix as poorly as he's played. I mean, there's just a lot of spots that Keegan Bradley, the captain, will have to choose from.
Speaking of Scheffler, it's a strange deal, Max. On 10 is where he double bogeyed. So it looked like the rough. He was trying to get out of it. Looked like maybe with a 3-wood or something, but it didn't come out good. So he's about 80, 90 yards up and down, and he puts the wedge right by the hole, but he had backspin so much it put him back. Well, he 3-putted. Yeah. I mean, from like 30 feet, 35 feet or so. So he 3-putts for the double, but he responded. I told you that he got 1 stroke back on 11. Well, he birdied 12 as well. So he's back to 3 under for the day and 5 under for the tournament.
Yeah, he laid up to 144 yards and then put it to 43 feet.
And he's 144? Is that far?
Yeah, so he had a good bit of ways. But, yeah, the spin control is going to be important today because the greens are obviously a lot softer, a lot more receptive with the rain. So some players are better at that than others. Rory had a big problem with that for a while. He's switched balls. He's playing a different type of shot now, and so that's improved his game quite a bit this season. But spin control will be important, and it looks like Sam Burns and Scotty Scheffler are doing a pretty good job of that for the most part today.
Yeah, well, the 10, no, it cost him, no. I mean, it looked like the damp conditions, he just right there, but it looked like maybe a little bit even more action on his ball than he anticipated. Speaking of rains and pours, here we go, in Conway. Another one off the wall in left center field. So an RBI double for East Carolina, 7-0. And get a base hit to here with just only 1 out, second and third. It'll be 9-0.
No run rule in the tournament, nope. But there is holes you cannot dig yourself out of, and Florida's approaching that right now. Anybody else you like in these game ones? Since we got some more info today with what you saw.
Well, obviously, I just laid the big lumber on the 4 teams that are throwing their aces in a money line parlay. It was minus 140 at our friends at the Queen and the DraftKings outlet. Charlie, that's not my favorite thing, but I'm sorry. Tennessee, Vandy, Oregon State, and North Carolina. You throwing your ace against a 4 seed. That's tremendous. I anticipate, even if LSU, if it's not their ace, it's a 1-1A, yeah. Right? It's a dual entry, with their first 2 guys. And part of that is when you have 2 guys that close, it is, win 2, and then, we're going to be deeper into our pitching, to the opponent's pitching, whoever comes out of that with the extra game. So as we talk about 2-run double, it's 9-0 East Carolina. It's been nonstop. It's been constant, up there. But the other ones, West Virginia, Kentucky's a great game. They're in a rain delay right now, but both are, I think West Virginia was. That was a big deal for them to win the regular season championship in the Big 12 this year. They didn't do so great in Globe Life up in Arlington for the Big 12 tournament, but Kentucky's banged up, man, and so they're certainly more seasoned, in postseason play, than West Virginia since Mingione's been there. But I don't know. I like Irvine to really make a run in Los Angeles. So I think their pitching and defense, pitching and fielding is perfect for this park as well. They are not phased at all by playing UCLA, across town. So I think UC Irvine is my most live non-1 seed to kind of make a run, including today.
Charlie, I got a good bit of news for you. I know you kind of like the pitching matchup in Oklahoma, Nebraska. That line opened up pretty high. Oklahoma was a pretty big favorite, minus 250, 270. It's down to 175. So Nebraska's taking some money. We're going to see a big pitching advantage with Witherspoon on the mound for Oklahoma. It's a much more manageable price now here at the Queen.
They didn't change Witherspoon's on you, right? his brother pitches for him too. He's not nearly as good. So.
Yeah, as far as we're aware, it's going to be the.
Did they announce?
I thought Kyson was announced.
He wasn't. No, it's just in Nebraska. Get Nebraska out of Omaha. They were fortunate in that game. Oregon's ace, man, his field, His fielding didn't help him out at all. Yeah. It was just, and the right fielder, they're not even in talking about advancing. If the right fielder from Michigan State doesn't drop the ball in the 27th out, that's over.
Yeah.
The last out. And so they come back and win that game. So this is back-to-back years where Nebraska has utilized home field advantage in Omaha to make a run and get that automatic seed in the Big Ten as a Big Ten tournament champion. But they only beat the number 4 seed last year, Niagara, and so I'm expecting similar results out of the 8th place finisher overall in the Big Ten standings. So I like Oklahoma way better. I can't lay 270. I can lay 175.
That Nebraska-Oklahoma game, one of 9 regionals at risk of facing delays today. They're in Chapel Hill today. You're expecting rain, a line of storms right around that start time of 4 o'clock. So we could see that game go pretty late tonight. I think we'll see a lot of late game action tonight.
The other one I would tell you, Miami and Alabama go at 2 o'clock in Hattiesburg.
What Miami team we're going to see?
Well, I'm actually got a different angle. That total is 9.5. I seen Alabama's throwing Riley Quick, who I think is their best arm. But when you get to that Alabama bullpen, you can score. 9.5 is a real low total.
Seems that way, huh?
Yeah. So,
well, how strong is Miami's starter?
He's okay. It's an ERA of about 4. It's not one of those monsters. So
now Bama's an over team.
Yeah. So might take a look at that one. Anything else, Max?
No, that's another game, by the way, that could get delayed. We're expecting Hattiesburg to get some rain right around 3 or 4 o'clock, so that could be a late one as well. I think we're going to see a lot of action get moved into tomorrow that was scheduled for today.
Start calling you Phil Connors. You know who Phil Connors was?
I do not.
He's the weatherman.
He's got his headset now. Do we have this little friendly wager now?
What's that?
Who's starting on time? Who's not starting on time? LSU?
I do not think LSU is going to start at 2.
I don't. You backed him off. You backed off the weather guy. He's Max the bully. If anybody knows Max, he's a bully. And if you stand up to him, he'll back down. Huh, Charlie?
I feel better about
I'll be honest.
You stood up to the weather bully.
So the rain. I think we might start at like 7 o'clock or so. I didn't realize that they had the 3-hour window rule.
It's not a rule. It's a guideline.
We've seen it already with Georgia. It's getting delayed despite they're not getting rain yet.
Nobody wants to start and then have to yank one of their
Charlie,
premium
I'll be honest,
starters.
That's a smart move by the NCAA. I tend to think that they're not ones to make good decisions, so I didn't really realize that was a thing. But if that's the thing, I think that's smart because you don't want to delay a game and have that impact.
And you do know if you are seen around Alec Box or walk-ons or wherever in the vicinity this year, you know that this guy that's been kind of a camera hog, Carl Katz goes, "Oh, Max the Bully. Oh, Max the Bully." Oh, yes, Max the Bully. You're going to get it from Carl Cat.
We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store. We are inside of a month of Father's Day. This is absolute the best. This is heaven for Father's Day gifts. Power tools, hand tools, gardening supplies, barbecue pits, cypress furniture, custom-made cypress furniture, rockers, gliders, benches, swings, lots of fishing gear available there. The grills, including the Big Green Egg cookers, all of the cooking accessories, custom Cajun cookware that can be shipped right to your door if you go to the website, which is doitbest.com/Thibodeau Store. And, of course, it's 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. The sister property, the Pierre Part store down in Pierre Part, where you get all your lumber delivered out of there. Lots of stuff.
You can get a prom dress, some 2x4s in a grill at the Pierre Part store. Give Max credit though. When he first talked about the Pierre Part store, he says, "I love that store." I'm like, "Oh, son, get out! You gotta. There's more than Bruley, I mean, come on, get out." But I gotta give him credit. Oh no, their stores are fun, bro. Oh man, they get my energy going, man. I love it. Being an outdoor cook, you do any type of outdoor cooking, whether it is your outdoor kitchen at home, on-site tailgating, festivals, you name it, man. You got to go to the Thibodeau store in a Pierre Part store. Kids. Dad likes to, if he likes to cook at all, go down to the Thibodeau store and hook him up. And you can do it online. You can do it online. They could deliver it to you.
Yep, the Cajun Cookware online. doitbest.com/Thibodeau Store. Doug Thompson, when we come back live at lunch here from Rufino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Florida finally on the board. East Carolina leads it though 9-1 in the bottom of the fourth inning. North Carolina 4-0 in the sixth on Holy Cross. And did you tell me Cincinnati had a couple of runs?
Yeah, 2-0 Cincinnati over West Virginia. I mean, not West Virginia, over Wake Forest.
Over Wake
Forest. Yeah, 2 in the first.
Let's go out to the box and Doug Thompson, who'll be on the call on the LSU Sports Radio Network. You can hear it on Eagle 98.1 when we start. Doug, good afternoon. How are you?
Guys, how you guys doing today?
Oh, we're doing fantastic.
Was that the little otter I heard right there?
Dougie, I was with my son, and he goes to school in Tuscaloosa, of all places. Yes, the same team that you threw the glove up in the air. But I'm with some parents from Scottsdale, Arizona. This guy played on that Arizona State team. Now, did you by any chance go to like Asia to play ball or something one summer? Or Taiwan or something?
Japan.
Yes.
Junior college All-American team.
This guy said he was with you. This guy was on that Arizona State team. Oh, I gotta look it up.
Wait a minute. Yeah, no. What was his name? You remember?
I gotta look it up.
While he's looking that up, you gotta get.
But he said no, he did go. He said he enjoyed the heck out of hanging out with you. He said it was a notable, telling me about some of you guys, what y'all were doing.
Well, us folks from down here south, we tend to stand out on the teams that are around the country.
Doug, what's the weather look like over there, and what are they saying about this potential forecast in the start time?
Well, I've only heard that the rain should come around like 5:30, 6 o'clock. As far as I know right now, everything is still a go. The temperature, it's overcast to some degree, but there's a lot of clouds. But from what I'm hearing, the rain's going to hold off until around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
All right, we'll see if they can get this thing started on time. All right, Doug, throughout the country, we've seen some of the one seeds have thrown their number one guy. Some of them have thrown their number two guys. Some of them have thrown bullpen guys. Jay Johnson wasn't going to say anything. He's due to put out a lineup here at any point. So what's your read here?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. My gut tells me that they'll go with one of the front two guys. Of course, anybody you talk to, of course, it's not wearing purple and gold. Everybody's opinion seems to be that this would be the perfect game to quote unquote throw off. Which, by the way, I don't think that the way that Newt and Shores have been throwing the ball would necessarily qualify for throwing off. I mean, they've both been pitching really well, especially. Both of them. Newt and Shores was firing it in there at 101, 102. But I don't know, Charlie. I'm with everybody. I can't wait. I haven't seen the starting lineup yet. Can't wait to find out what Coach Johnson's going to decide to do.
Newt and Shores, both in that second year off the Tommy John. You spotlighted this very early in the season on the podcast that we do, the Handycast, that, yeah, you get back and you can throw, but your command doesn't really get there until you come back and you've thrown somewhere around 50 innings. Shores went over 50 innings about a week or two ago. Newt's not there yet, but he's over 30 innings now, and we're really starting to see the stuff that these two guys had. These were highly, highly recruited guys. That second year back, you said once they get to 50 innings, look out, and that's exactly how it's come. So you kind of tell me about where the arm feels at this point as opposed to, say, maybe 5-6 weeks ago.
Well, I wouldn't know personally. When I blew mine out, it was I never had the surgery. It was just kind of that was a wrap on the old career. But I play with a ton of guys, and that number varies, right? Like 30 innings could take a reliever in the minor leagues an entire season to get to. It's more about time, and then there's a psychological piece of the whole thing as well, where you want to be 100%. You want to be able to grunt and let it go and throw it where you want to throw it. But is it ready? I mean, the biggest fear for anybody coming back from an injury is re-injury, right? Like, you don't want to go through the hell that you just went through, and of course it takes time to trust that. So what I meant more than physical, because their trainers and doctors wouldn't let them throw unless they were pretty dang sure it wasn't going to hurt itself. But it was more about how many times can they. Well, they were different stories. Newt was all about the injury. Chase Shores was about the injury and getting time in college, like to actually get. I guess they both were to some degree, but so you're getting to see the reps now, and there's confidence that has come with that. And of course, part of the whole thing for both of them is every time they throw, they get a little more confident that that injury and that surgery is going to hold up.
Doug, the offense was a little bit hot and cold over the last 4 weeks of the season into the SEC tournament. When you look at the quality of the at-bats, how do you feel about the LSU offense right this second?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, what offense doesn't go hot and cold? I mean, that's baseball. Like if you could hit the whole year, everybody'd be happy. But that's generally speaking not what happened. 2000 hit 340 the whole year. Of course, 1997 hit 188 home runs. So it seemed like there was always offense and that there was never a slump. So I guess there are occasions. But the truth is, baseball kind of calls for teams and players to get hot and cold. And whether they're hot or cold right now, I think that the thing to focus on today is that this is a golden opportunity against a team that, I think the line is 7.5 in this game. A team that you're really supposed to beat pretty bad. And sometimes for a team to come out of one of those quote-unquote cold slumps, if you will, it just takes a big 10-run rule where guys are pounding the ball all over the place. So what a great opportunity for LSU's offense in this matchup to do exactly what we're talking about, maybe spark that offense a little bit.
What about a team like Little Rock? They had to win their tournament. They weren't playing good baseball at the end of the regular season. They got in the tournament and won 5 in 4 days. They're playing with house money. When you get a team like that with nothing to lose, what do you expect from them today?
Well, I think that they're going to be playing with a lot of emotion. I think that getting through that conference tournament obviously gave them some momentum and some belief, and I'm sure they had a hell of a time. They probably became much closer as a team, with that effort. So I think you better be ready to play baseball, right? This is college baseball postseason. Nothing's guaranteed. I say it all the time on the radio. I don't trust any of them. Meaning other schools in the SEC, I don't trust them if they're 3-14. Halfway through the season, because Bianco just won the College World Series a few years ago and barely made the SEC tournament. So you can't trust anybody. And one thing, actually, on the other day while on your show, Charlie, I was kind of looking around at their roster and whatnot. I noticed a lot of redshirt juniors and redshirt seniors. And that means there's a lot of older dudes in that dugout, very likely half of them at least, probably about to play their last college games ever. So with a team like that, kind of similar to Coastal Carolina and some of these other schools that have run through Stony Brook, you got to watch out, especially in today's world of the transfer portal. How many kids on this team are actually, have a kid? How many actually are? You know what I mean? Like that matters. It really does matter. I'm not talking about having the kid. I'm just saying, how many guys in that dugout are 23, 24 years old with 1,000 at bats under their belt? Because that's what you better focus on. But regardless, Charlie, as well as anybody, Jay Johnson is not going to leave any stone unturned, and he's going to go out there as prepared as any other coach tonight across the country. And that's a lot of them. Think about it. Like, the guy's not naming his starting pitcher because he thinks it's an advantage for his team, and it very well may be today. And I'll tell you, because, back in 1997, I don't know if it really mattered if anybody knew who the starter was going to be. But in today's world, these guys have pitching machines that they can literally program the opponent all the way down to the RPM and exactly what the shape of the slider looks like and the changeup. And these kids can, and they can put them in the VR goggles now where kids can actually stand there and watch this opponent, the sequences that he uses and the pitches that he uses. So, the less the opponent knows, the better it is, really, in today's world because of all the new data and technology. So I respect Jay Johnson for holding his cards close because he can, and why wouldn't he?
Doug, have a good call. Let's see if we can steer around whatever weather there is today. We always appreciate the time. Talk to you on the podcast next week.
Good stuff. Hey, Jimmy, I can see that guy's face. Just tell me the name when you get
Brian Heinzelman.
Ryan Heinzelman. That's it. That dude was nasty, too. He's awesome. All right, dude.
Thank
I'll
you,
talk to y'all
Dougie.
later.
Appreciate it. Hey, don't
it.
forget, look, coming in for this weekend and staying downtown at the hotels, man. Great little pizza joint. It's kind of grab and go type of pizza. It's got some tables there if you want to eat there, but I mean, it is really good. It's affordable. It's fresh. It's good. It's Town Square Pizza. Facing Town Square, you can get a specialty pizza like the Town Square pepperoni, the Main Street, the Beauregard Town, the North Boulevard, the 3rd Street, or the Spanish Town Supreme, or you could create your own and go down the line. So you can build your own pizza with the crust, regular or gluten-free, different sauces, different cheeses, proteins, veggies, and a finishing sauce as well. So family packs are available as well. Kids meal are available, very kid-friendly at Town Square Pizza. Downtown facing Town Square.
Well, one final update before we get out of here and hand it over to Hunt. That's next here, live at Rufino's. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, we got nothing from the box as far as any delays or anything like that. We're watching the weather just like everybody else, and we also don't have lineups. So,
and we can't. We don't.
We're not going to
speculate. Start on. You don't.
No, I said I'm not
Lightning 20 minutes away.
I don't think that they're going to start at 2 o'clock. No, I've been saying this since the beginning of the show.
Yeah, okay. Cincinnati with an opposite shot 2-run homer in the top of the second. They are all over Wake Forest in Knoxville. It's 6-0 Bearcats over Wake Forest, the number 3 seed over the 2 seed, top second in Knoxville. Florida's on the board. They got a home run in the 4th. They're now batting in the bottom of the 5th, down 9-2 against East Carolina. And then Knapp, the ace for North Carolina. Bases loaded for Holy Cross, a 4-0 game in the top of the 6th. Bases loaded, 1 out. Fly ball to center. The runners did not advance. Strikeout swinging. They go to the bottom of the 6th. So Knapp holds on to that 4-0 lead for Carolina going to the bottom of the 6th inning.
And that's 2 more runs for Cincinnati there with a 2-run homer, so make it 8-0. That's Wake Forest's ace. They threw their 1 today, and he has gotten demolished by Cincinnati.
I mean, it is, and that no win factor, no win element in Knoxville today. So that means it is jumping out of there, and both of those to that right center field area that usually does not hold a whole lot of balls that are hit pretty good.
That's 2 aces we've seen knocked around pretty good. All right, we'll let Hunt take it over and provide you with all the updates here moving forward. Monday we will be at the Queen. Be a big weekend of baseball to recap with that. For Jimmy Ott and Max Gotro, Jordan Kinch is back in the studio, and all of us here at Rufino's, thank them for being our host. I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Enjoy a big weekend of baseball, and we'll see you on Monday. This has been Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. 4-5.